I want to change subject a little bit because I know one of your passions is song, literature, and young singers. You've got a fabulous program at the State University of New York in Potsdam, the Crane School of Music.
That's correct.
A program of singing American song. Tell us a little bit about that program.
I developed this program with two other people, with Carlene Graham, who's the head of the opera program in Potsdam, and with my dear friend and mentor, Dr. Alan Lewis Smith, who is at USC Pasadena. I met Alan at Tanglewood, where he was one of my coaches, the head coaches, and he does amazing work with collaborative piano and singers. And it was there at Tanglewood, actually, that my bug for singing, that's really where I was bitten. And I remember thinking to myself, you know, if I could do anything I wanted, I would really love to have my own art song program. I mean, it would just be so wonderful, because I think that we learn more as singers from song than we could ever learn from singing opera. Because there is something that is so crafted about a song, and it provides you an incredible foundation of technique to bring to the opera. And it teaches you the unbelievable importance of connection to text, because it's the only thing that we present other than the music.
That's right.
Is the text.
Right.
Opera is saddled with so many other things, with production value, with lighting, with costuming, and all of these things work together with the music and the text to tell the story. But when it's just you and a piano and a composer and a poet,
that's pretty naked.
It's pretty naked. And so I've seen so many of my young colleagues find themselves in a situation today where they're virtually lost, because they don't understand how to connect to text, because they don't sing songs for one, and they're always looking at everything in translation. They're always having to break through so many different lenses to get to the actual beast. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And
right.
so
it's yet another barrier.
Exactly.
It's yet another frame.
So I reasoned with my collaborators that if we could get young singers and pianists to really understand text connection and use American song to do it, use music in their own language.
Their language, yeah.
That if they could learn a technique in their own language, that they could translate that into other languages. And we started doing this 2 years ago, and it's just a 6-day program. We take 6 singers, we take 3 pianists. And we have a series of master classes, both public and private. We have a concert that that we put on every year. And during that week, we have different events that are open to the public and some that are not. And it's a very, very concentrated boot camp. And we have had amazing results, really amazing results. Because singers are in a very difficult situation. You know, we cannot be fully formed artists at 15.
No,
like a flautist could, or a pianist, or a violinist.
The voice has to mature.
The body has to mature. There's so much that goes into singing that isn't about actually making sound. And because we are waiting constantly for our voices to change, because every year, up until the time you're 35, your voice is changing because your body's changing. So the voice doesn't physically mature until about 35. So, but there's a lot of singing that can be done.
Yeah, sure.
You know? Yeah. But the thing is that you're constantly in this period of, okay, now what? What next? What next? So we're in a waiting period. We're in a waiting pattern, as it were. And what we end up doing as singers is we wait for our teacher to tell us what to do next, or a conductor, or a director, or a coach, or what have you, to give us a cue as to what we should do next. Unfortunately, that becomes a very bad habit when it comes to interpretation, both musical and textual. So that what happens is we have singers who show up to do work and they're a total blank slate and they're waiting for somebody to tell them what to do. And I'm here to tell you that there are far fewer people out there that actually know what to tell you than there were back in the day.
Right.
Whatever your back in the day is. We live in a world where, you know, there's a lot of either misinformation or no information. And I have more young colleagues who come to me in a staging rehearsal and say, "What do I do next? They didn't tell me what should I do." And I look at them and I say, "Well, listen to what you are singing and saying, and then listen to what your colleagues are singing and saying, and then react." And that's, you know, it is you have to be very, very on to your text to do that.
It sounds like this 6-day program is about teaching an individual singer to take the initiative.
Absolutely.
On their own.
Our go-to word is autonomous.
Yeah.
To be musically and interpretively autonomous. And that doesn't mean that you can go out and say and do whatever you want, and as long as it's your idea, it's okay. No, everything has to be from an informed and real place.
But don't you find with a lot of young singers, because I think I find this in working with them, that there's a fear to make choices.
Absolutely, because you don't want to be wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, exactly. because you're afraid that if you make a mistake, that's it, that your career is over. And but I find more often than not that you know, really great art, especially when it comes to music, is a group effort. It's more, not always, but more often than not, it's something that we do as a conversation. And great music is a great conversation. And if you're afraid to speak, then because either because you have nothing to say, or because you are afraid that what you're going to say is stupid, then no one's going to be able to make up their mind about you, full stop.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for making those points,
no.
Because I think that
Look,
fresh ears are going to hear them.
It's the scare. Becoming any kind of artist is terrifying. Number one, because you are learning. Not only are you learning to express your voice, whatever that is, but you have to get the vocabulary to express yourself.
Yeah.
You can have ideas out the wazoo, but if you don't know how to say it, that's technique, right? If having the wherewithal, the vocabulary, that is technique. Being able to take your technique and then move it to the next level, where you are expressing something that you want to say, that's art. You know, I had a colleague once say to me, I never knew that with a recital you could use it to make a point, that you could use it to say something that's important to you.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of people out there who don't understand that, and that's okay. It's my job to help them understand that. But I think that is how we're going to develop and build audiences for tomorrow. That we have to be that specific, and we have to help people realize how important art is to the world, how it helps humanity reveal itself, to show people the connectivity in humanity, how we are all like one another, not to find our similarities. The one thing that connects all cultures, that connects everything, despite your age, your economic status, your religion, your sexuality, your culture, no matter what it is, whatever background you come from, the one thing that can reach everyone is art. It's the only thing. It's the only truly universal language, because its basis is in love. There is not a single art form that does not come from love. Not one. And it's the only truly universal thing. that's what great art is. I mean, when you read a terrific poem, or you hear a beautiful song, or you see a fabulous painting, or you watch a divine ballet, whatever it is, or you go to a brilliant opera, these things are universal. The feelings that they bring out are universal. Everyone feels pain. Everyone feels heartache. Everyone feels joy.
You can't come away from experiences like that unchanged.
No, no. And my point with singers is that if you do not become that specific with text, if you are not that specific with your art form, then you are denying yourself the true experience. Mm-hmm. And you're denying the audience the experience. Yeah. And I see singers all the time, singing as if their life depended on it, wearing their hearts on their sleeves and weeping and rending their clothes, and not really rending them, but you know what I mean. And I say to them, why? What's the point? That person out there doesn't have a clue what your backstory is. They don't know why you're crying, why you're tearing your clothes. They have no idea what that is. But if you can get an audience member to cry, mm-hmm. if you can get someone to sit there and go, God, I know what that feels like. I know where Alfredo's been. I understand Mimi. Mm-hmm. I might not, have tuberculosis, but, I have tuberculosis of the heart. I know what it feels. I know what this feels like.
Or I know what Ulrika feels like because she's in a position knowing something that nobody else does.
Yes, to be that person. To be that person who knows. That's why I love singing Fricka. Because of the humanity of that character. Now, not everybody agrees with my reading of Fricka. I couldn't care less. I'd be more upset if I had no understanding of Fricka and I had no opinion about her at all. That would be really upsetting. But I do have a very specific opinion about her that's drawn from experience in singing the part and working with different directors. And the thing is that when people have said to me, why do you feel that she's not this harridan? Because I don't feel that about her. I don't feel that she's an angry nag. I feel that she's a woman desperately in love with a man she knows is going to make a decision that is going to change the world, and there's nothing she can do about it. And she has to sit there and watch it happen. Mm. And if she is going to eventually change this situation, she's going to lose the only relationship that she's ever wanted, that she's wanted bad enough to put up with all the BS that she's put up with. Yeah. If you can look at a character with that much personal continuity and understanding and love, quite frankly, that's what's going to make people react to it.
And those kinds of decisions can't help but move an audience.
No. It's the same thing with Azucena, with Ulrika. These are not characters that are out of the human possibility at all. I've talked to people about Azucena, and they said, well, it's such an implausible story. It's so ridiculous. Really? Ridiculous? We live in a world where Susan Smith put her kids in a car and drowned them in a lake. Mm-hmm. Sorry. Things, horrifying things happen. Horrifying things happen with children. Yeah. Horrifying. And this is not out of the pale. This person saw her mother burned alive. What on earth would she be capable of doing after that?
Yeah.
What would any of us be capable of doing
after
that? Well, it's
like last year, as you were talking, it dawned on me, we did La Fille du Régiment, mm-hmm. the daughter of the regiment. And at the time of the production was the story of the Polish regiment in Afghanistan who came across a little baby girl on the battlefield.
Yes.
And people were asking, this is a crazy, implausible plot.
No way.
These things happen all the time. Opera, art is a reflection of the human condition.
Exactly. Doesn't come out of thin air.
No.
Comes out of experience.
Listen, thank you so much for coming and sharing your love for the art.
My pleasure.
We're very much looking forward to seeing
Me too.
Ballet.
Me too.
Thanks.
Thanks.